Let's do it. Okay. One and all to Pandemonium. I know it's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks since like almost going on 3 weeks. Had a bit of a trip to Chicago, and I spent some time on Discord. But the ladder bored the shit out of me, and Chicago, it was as fleeting as the town itself. That's a good drink. There's been a few things that's been going on in the great debate that I just want to talk about real quick. Oh shit, yeah, I want to talk about that Ken Ham, Noah's Ark like travesty that just went down. But first, about our favorite wannabe scientist, Ronald McDonald. Let me just where is? There we go. There we go. Let me just. Okay, another window. There we go.
Hello. Hey, what's up? Oh, good. I didn't drop the call. Yeah, you're according to the screeners, you want to talk about evolution from a Christian standpoint.
Well, I heard something that was said earlier. Is it okay if I deal with what was said by Don earlier?
Sure.
In his opening statement, he said that you can't, that it written down here, he said you can't explain it, therefore God did it. You were basically assuming that some sort of argument from ignorance fallacy.
For some people, he was talking about different types of people and how different types of people use, I think, those concepts. So I don't think he was saying everybody says that, but he's saying there's definitely a type of person who uses it that way.
Right, but there's a lot that's been said here tonight.
Just to give like a short synopsis, he's basically going to challenge them on their knowledge of biology and evolutionary processes, and it's basically more of the same thing. It's just he sort of crashed and burned in this instance, though.
As usual. What I wanted to talk about was evolutionary theory and intelligent design, how this relates to some of the data that you find inside of the scientific community, like genetic code, for example, or the ATP synthase.
So let's cut to the chase. If evolution were completely wrong, would that prove God exists? Does it have any bearing on the claim that God exists?
No, what I'm trying to say is that the point being is that when you look at genetic information, when you look at the ATP synthase, the only thing that you can compare that to is an intelligent agent producing those things. When you look at evolution,
then why don't the people that are actually in the field?
I'm not finished with my statement.
Hey, we're atheists here. We're not evolutionary biologists.
Yeah.
Do you have a religious angle here, or?
Well, I mean, you've been talking to everybody else about intelligent design, creationism, asking all these different points, right?
We have.
See what the problem is now.
Okay, our atheism is due to a lack of belief in God because of the lack of evidence. Evolution has nothing to do with our lack of belief.
Well, evolution is a big. Evolution does lead. If evolution is true, if somebody accepts evolution as being true, does it or does it not lead people away from Christianity or their God?
No, there are plenty of Christians who believe in evolution.
Yeah, evolution is that's the explanation for the diversity you see in the biological world. While we have so many different species, so well adapted to the environment, it's just a matter of genetic mutation and natural selection. I mean, one would think that someone as at least self-proclaimed to be great in the sciences or knowledgeable in the sciences, the natural sciences, as much as Ronnie claims, he should know this. I mean, you got friggin' so many Catholics believing in evolution. It's not really all that problematic or all that controversial. It's ridiculous.
I think it's
if it led people away from God, there wouldn't be people who hold the view that God exists and evolution
Yeah,
is true.
there's all sorts of kinds out there.
Well, yeah.
But there's this issue
You know,
that,
exactly what I didn't say, though.
there was no Garden of
That's
Eden,
all.
and there was no fall of man, and there was no reason for Jesus to exist at all, and the crucifixion just before the
Not every atheist. Right, obviously, though, not every single atheist is going to have your same atheist views. So it is true that in certain cases, like Richard Dawkins and others, evolution being true does have implications on their personal views. And likewise, with intelligent design, there are people who may accept intelligent design and come to a God of some kind, even though it might not necessarily intend to prove a God.
Do you believe that biology is a conspiracy, an anti-God conspiracy?
No, I didn't say anything like that.
No, I'm not saying you said it. I'm just asking. So then biology is a field.
Can I go back to my point?
No, hold on, because this is gonna go long, and I don't think there's a reason for it to go long. Scientists who work in this field do not believe that a God is behind it. They have not found it. They have not published that. It's not even on the radar. So I don't really, I'm kind of with Don where I'm looking at this going, what is the point of this discussion? Because you're saying that you believe this, you probably have some science that you're going to throw out, but it's not convincing to people that actually work in the field. So what are we actually going to do here? Yeah, it is true.
That's not true, actually. Even people who are not IT proponents, even like Craig Venter, and people who are not even IT proponents.
It is not the consensus of evolutionary biologists that a God created people.
Yeah, just
now you're making ignorant.
okay. Just yeah, I think this is more or less like done.
Based on science.
God damn it! It keeps slipping. Yeah. So I think in a nutshell, he's just having like he's trying to make some argument against evolution, except these aren't the particular guys you need to have a discussion with. You need to talk to scientists. I mean, he has talked to scientists in the past, of course, but you know, they've already kicked his ass. So at this point, it's just making random calls to the atheist experience. So just getting off of that, it seems to be more or less like a done deal. Like, you know, Ronnie's just trying to keep backing up his position with this ID argument, this Paley's watchmaker analogy rehash bullshit, but same kind of insipid notions over and over again. We see like patterns and design and things that aren't really designed. It's silly. And bullshit analogies, like ID is not an actual science. Okay, there's no predictive model to it. There's no ability to actually infer a design, or it's just ridiculous notions. All right. Oh yeah, G-Man. Yeah, he's been making some videos about PZ Mars and shit. Atheist loving the goalposts. Okay. 2 videos. G-Man. Okay. Where?
Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Preaching to the Choir Ministries. I'm going to try to make this video as quickly as possible. First and foremost, Dragnet Savalas made a video on his YouTube channel called Geologic, Volume 2 or Part 2. I'm not 100% sure. What I'll try to do in the description of this video is I'll put the link to his video to his channel. It's not a really in-depth video or anything like that. He just moved into his new place.
You can't tell Volume 1 or 2, like you. Holy fuck.
By the way, congratulations, Drake, for that. He was just giving his opinions about some YouTubers on here. And one of the persons that he was giving his opinions about was me. And I disagree with the opinions that he has about me, although maybe one of them is partially right about me. But not really mad at Dragnet for what he said. It's not really a video response to what he said on there because people are entitled to their opinions. However, PZ Myers' name came up in the video, and I left a comment in the comment section of his video. I apologize for the background noise, guys. Yeah, PZ Myers made a made a, I'm sorry, he made a comment towards PZ Myers, and I left a comment on the channel. So I basically said that,
okay, get on with it, dude. What is it? What's the crux? Like, what's the main content about?
That when it comes to the great debate, it doesn't matter about science. Great, he went to college and whatnot. He knows more. He's been more indoctrinated than me when it comes to something.
Indoctrinated. Holy fuck. Oh boy. This dude really needs to get a thesaurus or something like that, so he can know what the words he's using actually mean. Primarily.
These topics, that's fine. However, when it comes to the great debate, does God exist? Is God moral or immoral? You know, and topics like that we talk about here all the time on the internet. What I said in the comment section, I meant. Okay? PZ Myers would get humiliated and a conversation with me about these things, because the man is a novice. Even the answers that he gave for the science that he was talking about were predictable, and things that he was talking about was the stuff that you would expect an evolutionist to say, you know, regarding these topics and whatnot. But
I bet you if you could actually, if you ask him about them specifically, he'd probably just make up some bullshit or deflect from the questions, you know, given his limited attention span. But this seems to be more of a dick measuring contest that he's trying to put out. But let's I'll listen to a little more and then we'll move on.
When it comes to the topic of whether or not God exists and the topic of morality, I know for a fact that I'll stomp a mud hole in this guy, because he doesn't. He seems
okay.
to.
All right, moving on. All right, so this is the second one, the one that like the recent one that he put up. Let's see. Why is he holding the knife like that? Like, why does he, like, it's barely in his grip. He need to not play with those things, man, given his childlike mind. Might end up losing that finger or something like that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Preaching to the Quiet Ministries.
Like what the fuck was that? Like, you a dangerous motherfucker or something like that? Like, what the...
And today, I want to talk about how atheists are just so dishonest here on the internet. You know, a lot of them don't know that there's a big difference. As a matter of fact, they probably do know. That's why they lie so much on here. But there's a big difference between a person lacking belief and then willfully saying, I will not believe no matter what you say to me. I don't want to believe it. Hence my experience on TST yesterday when I was trying to correct. He was.
He mad that he got kicked out of the room. If it makes it feel any better, G-Man, I got kicked too. It's not a big deal. Like, you know, like getting above your ass about it isn't worth it. I mean, I honestly like TST better when it was all about the talking shit. Now they want to make it academic and stuff like that instead of Saturday Night Live. Good right. But yeah, let's listen to more of this shit.
Floyd, about what we actually believe concerning Judas Iscariot and how he died. I said I wasn't going to mention Fiona no more on this channel, but even Fiona doesn't even give an accurate description of what we Christians actually believe concerning the account. That Judas hung himself. Now they were talking about passage that was in the book of Acts versus the passage that was in the Gospels, and they were saying that it was an apparent contradiction.
Okay, I don't care about this part, so I'm just going to skip.
Says that their interpretation of what they're talking about is correct.
Yeah, I don't care about that shit.
People that vouch for this guy. Anybody can go on Google and find these arguments on there because they're all over the place. You can go on Google and find like a trillion different arguments and actually examine themselves to see whether or not they're contradicting themselves. You understand what I'm saying? So this is why a lot of us just say these people are easy to deal with, because they do so much of this. They don't take the time out to think about the stuff that's coming out of their mouth and actually examine themselves to see whether or not they're contradicting themselves.
Coming from a guy with a serious lack of self-awareness who gets into who's like the most intelligent person in the room contest and usually like fails systematically, a guy who by his own fault literally gives out like personal information of his own, like from his name to like his place of work, to his address and a number of other things. I don't think you're in a real position to tell people that they talk too much and don't do a lot of thinking, Gary. I think that's a case of the pot calling the kettle black, dude. Take your own advice or practice what you preach. That might help.
And the things that they're saying. So they don't want to believe. They're fighting you so that they don't have to believe. They don't have a lack of belief. That lack of a belief mess is just a play on words. These people don't want to believe. And you
a play on words? How's that a play on words? What the fuck? A play on word? Okay. Let me do this for G-Man. Just a play on words. Okay. Okay. Play on words or wordplay is a literary technique and a form of wit in which the words are used to become the main subject of the work, primarily for the purpose of intended effect or amusement. So examples of these would be, I'm gonna use her name like who is he? You get it? I'm gonna use her name like who is he? Or here lies the bones of one Bun. He was killed with a gun. His name was not Bun, but would would not rhyme with gun, but Bun would. Yeah. This is wordplay. Yeah. G-Man, you gotta do a lot of thinking and less talking.
You can always tell when you're saying, look, this is what I believe. This is what the Bible says. Now tell me why you like a belief in it. Don't tell me what I believe and then tell me why you have a belief in it. A lot of people might try to turn around and say, well, G-Man, you do that with evolution. No, I don't. I can actually keep my mouth shut, wait for the claim to be made, and then say, okay, where's your evidence?
I call BS on that. Any damn time we actually get into a discussion about science, or you talk with someone who is far more science literate than you, you go like instantly full G-Man. You like it would take a miracle for you to shut the hell up when they're trying to give an explanation, and you typically come out of the discussion not learning anything. You know, because you are a problem student. You are not very academic whenever you enter these discussions. I'm not saying I myself am like some kind of genius myself, but at least I can actually sit down and like pay attention to what the other person is saying so I can give a reasoned response. I'm at least socially aware of that, you know. But anyway.
That's all. I mean, I can do that all day long. Some of you claim that fossils is your evidence. Okay, I didn't say anything. I let Ken Owen do it. And he says, how can a bone tell you how many children they had or whatever? You know what I mean? You can go look at the video I made about Peasy.
Dude, Ken Hovind is an idiot, okay? Like, beyond the fucking community college education, he's not an expert on any of the stuff he spouts about. More importantly, like, he's a fucking tax evading piece of shit. Why bringing out his name means anything or holds any weight? It doesn't. So, yeah. As far as fossils go, I mean, those actually show transitional forms. Like, everything is in a constant state of transition, like with genetic changes and stuff like that. So, all that shows is that you don't really understand the topic, once again.
You see what I'm talking about. Or any videos that I've been involved with where I've argued against the fossil record. Okay? And I've at least done my due diligence on that. But these atheists,
sure you did.
They crack me up. Oh, I have a lack of a belief because I don't see any evidence. No, you don't have a lack of a belief because there is no evidence. What you have is a willful, determined mindset to not believe in a God of the Bible because you hate him. You despise him. And you love promoting you pretty much. It's all about you and how much education you got and how great you are. You refuse to worship someone else. Unless
ignoring the nonsense in the former statement, the latter is is very telling about G-Man. Atheists are on here to worship. We're worshiping ourselves, how much education we have. Like talking about how great we are. That's weird. It's almost like that there's some kind of I don't know, inherent like I don't know. It almost sounds like envy. Like I'm hearing envy in your voice, G-Man. It's almost like you feel like people are looking down at you because of your belief. So you have to, I don't know, let out your frustration through these straw men, I guess. It's not because we hate your belief, dude. It's just that you're not good at actually being able to discuss that rationally without acting the way you do with a song and dance to it. We're moving on.
Unless he's another atheist and he's studying his science like you are. Because after all, out of all the subjects in the world, there's only science. Science is all that matters. Yeah. So
I mean, beyond science, it could be any other topic and you still fuck up on that. Whether it's history or politics or anything else, you still fall flat.
To make this quick video and give you my thoughts on that. These people don't want to believe. It has nothing to do with their lack of a belief. When you got an atheist trying to teach you what think about this a minute. If you want to make a case against Christianity, it's probably better to have a Christian in the room, let them make the claim, and then you reject the claim, instead of having an atheist in there say, well.
Okay, this. What the fuck? Look at this fool look like DK with the fucking. Oh my god, that is a good ass screenshot. But yeah, this video is boring as fuck for me now. So I'm just gonna stop sharing it. All right, moving on. Oh, for an uprising. Let's see what it is gonna do. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is cool. Let's bring this up. Okay, we got that crazy fuck, a call for an uprising, bitching about Satanism again.
If you've ever had this feeling that's... Welcome to today's show. A man's own words.
Vice.
Condemn himself. That in this case, Vice is actually speaking the truth for once, but they're doing it obviously to go along with an agenda, which is this satanic temple, this satanic church. These people who claim that they're atheists are nothing but liars. But Vice has been a media outlet which has supported the satanic temple, and this article does continue to support it, but it shows how the satanic temple has become a queer haven. I kid you not. But we already know that, because those of us with eyes to see and ears to hear know that this homosexual agenda, this transgender agenda, is nothing more than a satanic agenda. That is why.
Oh shit, they're coming for you, man. Yeah. I'm to possess you. Come to possess your butthole. Oh man, this guy's such a fucking lunatic.
The satanic temple. Because this is a satanic agenda that is going on. As you can see, this man, his parents must be proud, with his painted nails, sitting on the lap of the Baphomet, this cue ball here. Let me read to you about how the Satanic Temple is becoming a liberal movement. That is what they're pushing this as in the mainstream, right? They're not talking about satanic rituals, satanic ritual abuse, pedophilia. They're talking about it as if it's an atheist liberal movement, and people are buying it. A movement where, oh, they're open to everything, which is true, they are. Do without will is their mindset. The Aleister Crowley mindset.
Open to everything? Like, well, what the fuck does that mean? This guy is so fucking... See, this is why I like this guy. He is so out of his mind. He's so insane. He comes up with these fantasies in his mind, and there's no real concrete evidence in any of these news stories to actually support them. It's just like he reads some shit and then he's so freaked out. It's like, oh man, like what are they gonna do next? What are they gonna do now? Ah! It's funny. He's a good source for material, though. I'll give him that.
But people are going, oh, isn't that great? The Satanic Temple, you know, they're for gay rights, they're for all rights, they're for especially women's rights because they want to make sure women have the right to choose. They don't realize why they want women to have the right to choose, because those abortion sacrifices go directly to Satan. But let me read you a little bit about this here. The temple is a haven for smart people with complicated identities that promotes benevolence and empathy. All right, so you see how this is working towards the Satanic Temple being a part of the left. In the early 90s.
Oh, shit. Benevolence, empathy. Oh, my goodness. That's so terrible. Oh, they're so evil. They're so nefarious. Give me a fucking break, dude. Cry me a river.
Ash Blackwood, who goes publicly by the by the name Ash Astaroth, was an openly gay teen looking for community in his tiny Ohio suburb. And he found it when he stumbled upon Satanism. What a surprise! When he found the Baphomet, the freak show goat with breasts and a penis that these losers worship, this goat whose head I would punt 50,000 yards if I had the opportunity to see this thing. It says, with his piercings and blue hair, he found empowerment by embracing his own brand of weirdness. Now, don't you?
Yeah. By the way, it's just it's a figure that was invented in the 14th century. I think. Excuse me, folks. That's rude. Made up by the Knights of Templar. I think they thought it was like the name was a play off Muhammad or whatever. But yeah, like crazy guys like him think that people worship this entity when really it's just an art figure.
See the common trigger words here: empowerment. That's all we hear about, right? Empower yourself. Women's empowerment, men empower. Everybody empower yourself. Be your own you. Huh? All these things that mean nothing. What does it mean to be your own you? You're already your own you. You're already yourself, your own person, even though most of these people are zombies. They don't even know who they are for the most part because they're walking around and everything they're...
So they know that so they already know that they're their own them, but they're zombies as well. Like, this guy can't make up his mind to keep himself straight. I have no idea what this guy's even talking about.
Doing is based off of mind control that they're told from the television to do, what to believe, what's cool, what's not. But of course, this is how they play into it, right? His weird piercings, his blue hair, it makes you weird, it makes you different, which will be accepted in Satanism. Is the same crap they do with the West Memphis Three. Oh, they're judged because their hair is blue. People who are crying for attention die there. I mean, that's what these people are. Dying for attention, dying for me. They want the spotlight on them. They want people to kiss their ear.
Dude, come on. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you really going to play that game? Are you really going to play that game? Oh, they're just doing it for attention. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're complaining about what they're doing. Oh, because they're getting attention. Like, you don't want that either. You're complaining. You're just mad that the attention's not on you. Shit. It's the public sphere. I mean, of course it's for publicity stunts and all that. It's a show. The world's a stage, motherfucker. That's how it works. And through their art and through their satire and their political stunts, they're actually making a difference in society. It's a cool thing. It's good. Ave Satanas, biatch.
So with his piercings and blue hair, he found empowerment by embracing his own weirdness, something that brought him routine high school bullying, but seemed to be embraced by the Church of Satan. Of course, they're the victims. They're getting bullied because his hair was blue. I mean, it's all the same regurgitated nonsense that we hear. They push it through every one of these teen movies. Oh, the unique kid. Oh, the different kid gets picked on by the jocks or by the, this different group of kids. Give me a break. It's all mind control. They want to create these cliques. They want to create divisions and groups amongst us. It's just all psychological. So it says without a physical church.
Who's mind controlling who? Like, what's going on? Shit, I guess we're not going to get an answer to that. Just speculation and conspiracy and shit.
To visit, he'd spent a few hours, he said, at his local library logging onto online satanic forums and chatting with like-minded souls. So you see how they're just talking about this? They're saying, oh, we logged onto satanic forums. And what were they talking about? They were talking about
Oh, cool. What's your favorite music? I like Marilyn Manson. Oh, me too. Do you like to paint your fingernails black even though you're a boy? I do. Great.
This guy is fucking nuts. He's so triggered.
Hey, let's all get along. That's not what satanic forums talk about. It talks about black magic. That's what it talks about. These people perform black magic rituals. It's not hard to see. It's not hard to realize that magic's going on because every single thing in modern culture talks about magic. Disney, songs, music.
I got the magic in me.
Harry Potter, you name it. They're not on forums going, haha, cool, do you like to wear black clothing and black lipstick too? Me too, let's be friends. Yeah, give me a break. This is the deception of Satanism that we're currently living in. This is why I have so many messages from Christians who just don't seem to get it. Oh my goodness, don't you realize that Satanism is just an atheist group? Don't you realize that you got rocks in your head? Unbelievable. So ultimately it says, he became disenchanted with the church's insincere and aggressive tone, not to mention the bros who infected the scene with outdated machismo, talking about the old satanic temple. He nearly ditched Satanism altogether, but in 2014, as he prepared for a life explaining away his Lucifer tattoos with a spiel about liking the literary architect, he discovered the Satanic Temple. An unrelated, though similarly named group, it was actually an anti-Satanic Temple rant that drew him to the organization, posted to YouTube by Brian Werner, a former death metal vocalist in the band Vital Remains, who said Satanism has become very liberal, compassionate, borderline hippie-like, and its outlook is hippie-like on politics and society issues. If this guy is leaving the Satanic Temple for those reasons this guy says, that's exactly where I need to be. So my point here in doing this is showing you how they're taking this cult, right? They're taking the cult, which is coming out of the woods into the light, and they're now actually just pushing it towards this liberal movement, which doesn't exist because the liberal movement is satanic. The conservative movement is satanic. It's all fake. It's not real. This isn't...
If it's all satanic, how do you differentiate liberal from conservative? And whatever. This is a crazy fucking rant. We're moving on. Yeah, so he's all butthurt because they're able to do this stuff and they can't do anything about it. Yeah, he knows that he can bitch all he wants, but he knows the moment he starts ranting about, oh, this other faith is offending me, it's bothering me, I don't like it. It's like, see. That's why he's all pissed off. That's why he's all butthurt. People are showing mirrors to him, and he can't stand his own reflection. He can't stand that the joke's on him and he's being laughed at. But anyway, that's why his Christian bros are telling him, dude, like, you're being trolled. Like, you need to calm down. It's like, no, I can't, because he's in too deep. He needs to keep on with the bullshit. But moving on. All right. What we got here? North Carolina church allegedly kept slaves.
In the South, that's so bizarre and so extreme that it's legitimately hard to believe, but it turns out to be true. So look at this. A North Carolina church that is already under investigation for kidnapping a gay man and attempting to beat his homosexuality out of him is once again in the spotlight after it was revealed that the church members porting worshipers
live viral story, by the way,
from Brazil and turning them into slaves. According to the Associated Press, the Word of Faith Fellowship recruits young members from 2 affiliated churches in Brazil to come to the U.S. on tourist and student visas, where they are put to work on the church's 35-acre compound in Spindale for no pay. One man, identified as Andre Oliveira, told the AP that he was forced to work 15 hours a day, usually for no pay, cleaning offices and warehouses owned by the evangelical church. He was also forced to work at private businesses owned by some of the church's ministers. Oliveira stated that failure to comply resulted in beatings and shaming from the pulpit. blaspheming from the pulpit. Now, also, these guys had their passports taken from them when they got here. That's a clear sign of forced labor. They take their passports from them, and then they make them live in a crowded basement with 8 other people. So basically, a North Carolina church was just kidnapping people and using them as slaves. That's what's happening.
Yeah, I remember reading that story a couple days back, but you know, I gotta be honest. I mean, the story itself, I mean, hearing it is just beyond crazy. It's like it's horrendous, you know, that these guys could do this. I mean, apparently they were reading the Old Testament and said, hey, let's stick with that shit. You know, slaves obey your masters, you know. But yeah, that's just beyond screwed up to import people from a different country and just enslave them, take their passports and have them like work like against their will, and if they refused, you know, beating and shaming and shit like that, and all under the guy's religion. Now, I'm not trying to say that, you know, it's it's like the sole cause of all the horrible shit in the world, but the fact that it could be used in such a way to control people like that is just it's just so messed up. Yeah, but thankfully the people were rescued. You know, they're not enslaved anymore, so that's a good thing. I just wanted to cover that. But anyway, on a more like funny news, like let's look at Ken Ham's Noah's Ark project. Oh, failing project. All right. Okay, we found the story. There we go. You know what? I'll tell you what. I'll save that for. Nah, fuck it. I already got the story up. I'm not gonna like BS it. Might as well talk about why I got it up here. Okay. So this story is from the Herald Leader, and it's as follows. After state suspends tax break, Noah's Ark Park transfers land back to for-profit entity by Linda Blackford. Okay. So 3 days after state tourism officials suspended an $18 million tax incentive, officials at a Noah's Ark theme park sold yeah, I see that. All right. Okay, we're gonna take a short break. Just a short 30-second break until I can get my plug. BRB 1 second. All right, I'm back and it's plugged in, so it's all good. Anyway, that story. There we go. Anyway, yeah. 3 days after state tourism officials suspended an $18 million tax incentive, officials at a Noah's Ark theme park have sold their main parcel back to their for-profit entity for $10 million. Okay. The issue started in late June after Ark Encounter LLC sold the parcel to its nonprofit affiliate Crosswater Canyon for $10 million. The deed continues to describe the property as worth $18 million, even though the Grant County PBA had assessed the land for $48 million. Ark Encounter officials have declined to say why they sold the property in the first place, but the move in June coincided with their refusal to pay a safety assessment tax levied by the city of Williamstown. City's officials worried that the sale might be the first step in the Ark claiming non-profit status, which would exempt it from property taxes. But on July 18th, state tourism officials said that the land sale breached the tax sales rebate incentive agreement, which was with Ark Encounter LLC, not Crosswater Canyon. On July 21st, the parcel was switched back to Ark Encounter LLC again for $10 million. The assessment still lists the property as being worth $18 million. On Monday, Mark Louie, the co-founder of Answers and Genesis, the parent body of both Ark Encounter and the Creation Museum in Petersburg, said the group needed to keep our options open to protect the organization for the future, but did not explicitly explain the two property transfers. Group protest the anniversary of the opening Ark Encounter Park in Williamstown. Quote, "We have always said we want to pay our fair share for safety services, and we believe we had made a highly reasonable counter proposal to the city council." Louis said, "And it has been our desire to be a partner in helping to grow the economy of a community that welcomed us so kindly. We are saddened that the city council did not extend the courtesy of discussing this ordinance with us before passing and taking it to the public, and was not willing to negotiate further." All right. Yeah, I'm not surprised at the fact that this businesses tend to fail, or is failing right now, so to speak. I mean, it's funny because not too long ago they were blaming atheists for the reason why I was doing so crappily in their business. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing: you think you could cheat the government because you're religious? I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, you could only bullshit people for so long before they start to wake up and smell the coffee. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. So, I'm glad that's happening. I don't feel sorry for those guys at all. You know, that's their cross to bear for the most part. That's their bullshit they have to deal with. So one more story, and we'll wrap it up for the day. Okay, what else we got? Okay. I think we could talk about that transgender, like transgenders being banned from the military thing. Okay, where is the video for that? All right, where is it? Where is it? Okay, there we go.
All three of the harmful foods
Oh
I'm
my
going to show
fucking
you
God.
right now.
I hate ads. I hate them.
Now, Nancy
Nancy Cook, a White House reporter for Politico, and Aaron Blake, a senior political reporter for the Washington Post. Thank you guys for being with us. It's obviously a lot on your plates today, and we'll get back to healthcare in a minute. But first, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Joseph Dunford, announced today the U.S. will continue to permit transgender people serving in the military until the president gives them the directive to change the policy and implement it. Now, of course, this comes after the president tweeted he will ban transgender people from serving, which, as you know, appeared to catch the Pentagon off guard. Aaron, we'll start with you. What do you make of this memo from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs saying there will be no modifications, at least for now?
Well, it just shows that this whole thing kind of done in a little bit of a scattershot manner. The president seems to have tweeted something that members of Congress weren't familiar with, that the Pentagon wasn't familiar with, that the Joint Chiefs of Staff weren't familiar with. By Wednesday, after was being asked whether the president believed that current transgender soldiers would be kicked out of the military. They didn't have any answers on that. It's just a really good example of why you don't announce a policy unless you check these boxes, checked with the people who are important to that process, and made sure this is something that you can implement. I think that this memo from the Joint Chiefs is a pretty bad indictment of the White House's handling of this, and it's certainly not an unprecedented situation in which that's happened.
Nancy, what do you think of this? Obviously, the president is the commander-in-chief, but can he change and implement this policy without more buy-in from the Joint Chiefs?
Well, it's not. I mean, that's usually a president would consult the agencies that would be affected by this, the cabinet secretaries that would be affected, and the fact that the president basically just made policy on the fly vis-a-vis a tweet, when in fact House Republicans had a much smaller issue with the transgender people in the military. It was that they didn't want the Pentagon to pay for sex reassignment surgery anymore. They didn't want the president to necessarily ban all transgender people. But the president went ahead and made this policy anyway, not fully understanding the nuance, I would argue. And he didn't give the agency any heads up. It really reminded me of what happened with the immigration and travel ban early in Trump's presidency, where there was also no coordination with the Department of Homeland Security or with ICE, and where a bunch of people were caught unaware in airports, on the middle of flights, and nobody knew how to implement this policy.
Was this a political miscalculation, Nancy?
I think the president just doesn't always understand the steps that it takes to carry out policy, that, you know, you would have to have rules governing then. If you're going to ban all transgender people from the military, you would have to have some guidance on what should happen to current transgender people in the military. And I don't think the president fully appreciates all the steps that governing takes. And I also feel like he doesn't always fully appreciate the court challenges that some of these policies face, like this transgender ban will certainly face.
All right, I want to turn.
Yeah, that was a bit of CBS News, a bit of a clip. I would have shown you, but I'm just gonna give like just a brief thought, and we'll probably wrap up from here. How do I see this? I think that this it's not so much political miscalculation. I mean, it was obviously a step in the wrong direction, but more so to the point. I feel like it's a distraction. I feel like what Trump is doing is really just a diversion from what he's actually doing with foreign policy, just starting all these like random wars and like just spontaneously. I don't think it'll stick, you know, because I remember reading something recently from the New York Times that says that the people, you know, as the woman said in the clip, who are currently in the military will still be able to serve for the time being. They'll still continue to treat all the personnel with respect. As importantly, given the current fight and the challenges they face, they'll remain focused on accomplishing the assigned missions. But honestly, this guy is a showman. He's a carnival barker. That's what he honestly does. He's all about, you know, doing random stunts to try and garner attention and praise from the public. The problem is he doesn't actually know what steps that are needed to take in order to have these things implemented. And usually every time he like tries to shoot from the hip, it always comes back to bite him. So I think the Pentagon will probably roll back the policy allowing transgender people to openly serve. I mean, you know, people are going to see that as a civil right. I mean, if you're a citizen here, I mean, it's obvious that you know, that whole be all you can be thing applies to you. So I doubt it's gonna last for, you know, forever. But I think it's just a stunt, you know. That's just how he works. But I don't think it'll last very long. It'll probably be shot down. But that's just my thought about it and everything. What else we got? I guess we have time for just one more story. One more story we could stop. Okay, some random bitch says Wonder Woman. That's rude. Lou Engel says Wonder Woman was a prophetic sign about ending abortion. Where's the fucking clip?
Speaking of Esther, I mean, God used her. She was obviously a woman to save an entire race of people. And in this case, only a woman could do that. You were saying that in this hour that we're in, this spiritual hour, that God is saying to you and many others, this is the hour for women. Only women can turn the tide of what's happening right now.
When I had this dream, the Lord showed me in the dream there are certain powers of darkness that can only be broken by women. And I believe abortion is one of them. See, we're going there. We want to raise up 1 million petitions to go to the Supreme Court. It's time for Esther not just to pray, she has to petition the king to end the death decree. We're in a moment. If the church responds, we could see things shift in this nation. And I actually believe that, I mean, we called a 3-day Esther fast because the witches, you heard this, the witches were calling a worldwide cursing of the president and all those allied. I realize
it is so easy to troll these people. You could just tell them any random thing and just add the word magic and they lose their shit. As if like God and fucking angels and demons and shit like don't have magic or whatever. All myth and legend.
at that moment, you can't deal with this on a political realm. You must deal with it in a spiritual realm. I called a 3-day Esther fast. You knew about that. And in 10 days, the Lord...
Is he saying Easter or Esther? I don't...
...largest mobilization I've ever seen. 83 countries, 7 continents. They were fasting in the Antarctic. Women were rising up. It's the hour for a great mobilization of women, Esther's and Deborah's.
You know, it's interesting. It seems like oftentimes when God is doing something in the spirit realm, it manifests in the natural realm. For example, Wonder Woman came out this summer, the first female superhero film in over a decade, I think. And the actress was Israeli. It was directed by a woman. Very unusual to have a female director of an action film. And one of the things that was interesting in the film is that Wonder Woman, she goes into no man's land, and she is the only one who can turn the tide of the war. And I'm thinking, is Lou getting this? Is Lou hearing this? Is Lou knowing this? I mean, what are the spiritual, do you see the spiritual parallel?
Oh, absolutely. The movie.
It's a fantasy. It's for fucking entertainment. Like she was also like a fucking like a deity, or like a demigod or something like that in the story. Like what the hell? Like they take that seriously?
It's amazing. She doesn't have a bit of anger, bitterness as a woman. She's feeling compassion for all the people. And she says, you can't deal with the violence on the ground unless you deal with the principality and power. You go watch the movie. In fact, my dream was that only women can break certain kinds of principalities and powers.
Yeah, it was a good movie. I ain't gonna deny. I don't know where you get the spiritual angle from. I think you're just reading that in because you know, you're whacked in the head. Okay. We got time for one more. Okay, so it's Calgary. Okay.
I have come to a
Nah, never mind. It's all good, folks. It's all good, folks. It's all good. There's yeah, it's all right. I think that's it. Anyway, all right, folks. This has been Wolf King. Peace out. If you like this video, you know what to do. Dare to know, no gods, no masters. Ave Satanas. This has been pretty good. Finally getting back into the fold, going back to my roots. I think I might make more videos, make more hangouts. You know, because I like being able to say what the hell I want to say, whatever's on my mind, and you know, not having to deal with nonsense or silly fucking trolls or whatever. But that being said, dare no, hail Satan, and peace out. Chill and ciao.